Jameel Muhammad and Jeff Cardozo dive into the hobby, which is sports cards, trading cards, as well as all other collectibles, right now on the Meelypod Hobby Podcast, live from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron, Grille.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Meelypod Hobby Podcast, episode 2.
We're on 2.
Coming to you from the Meldon Law Studios. Meldon Law, they won't back down. This guy never backs down. The hardest working man in show business. Jameel from the Meelypop shop. I am merely Jeff Cardozo, but we are happy to be bringing it back and happy to be here once again. Episode 1 with the HBC. Steve Spurrier was a big hit. If you missed it, make sure you go back and check out what the head ball coach had to say. And we've got some cool stuff to tell you about with that. But there's always cool stuff that you will hear here on the podcast.
Yeah, there's so much happening in the hobby. There's so much happening locally in Gator sports, which we're going to talk about. I get maybe it's just your beautiful looks, just giving them a good luck charm everywhere we go. But one of the greatest college baseball games in postseason history, probably, with the Gators and Clemson the other day. And then I just got back from Indianapolis from the Midwest Monster Card Show, getting to meet all my friends in the Midwest. It was a good success. I took up 2 guys from the team, and we were buying and selling and trading all weekend. Did a lot of talk about just a lot of people are interested in the hobby from a collector standpoint, from a flipping standpoint, lots of kids and families. So nice. That was good. And we have a lot of things happening in the shop this week. So we have some big events. It's actually our 6-year anniversary, Jeff.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, man.
It is crazy from the little start of just trying to get something going and help out the kids in the community and make it fun and helping kind of Gator Nation and showcase that to now being everywhere. I guess they always say Gator Nation is everywhere, and you guys are now everywhere.
I guess. I mean, it's one of these things where, when my wife and I started this business, we were just kind of budgeting, and we're like, we can probably make this amount, and we'll have 1 employee, and it'll be us 2 who have to work hard, and we're both working our full-time job still, to now, 6 years later, we have this massive, amazing team. We have a second shop in South Carolina, a podcast, with celebrities, and just a good time across, going to national card shows. We have the big card show coming up in July, which we'll talk a little bit about here in our third segment. But it's a wild time to be in the hobby.
Well, and so let's quickly go to the Midwest, which St. Louis, of course, kind of the Midwest.
One of the hats. If you've seen episode 1, go check it out.
Did you see a lot of Cardinal fans in there roaming around in
So
their jerseys?
probably about 8. I had about 8 different Cardinals fans come up to me. So I never get that in Florida. So it was like I didn't know what to do. And then there was one point where I was buying from a guy who was a Cardinals fan, and another guy was buying from that guy. And then we all just started talking about the Cardinals. So we forgot about the cards, the actual physical cards, and we're talking about the Cardinals. So it was a sweet time. A lot of Cubs fans as well, which, they stink. But
of course.
No.
Well, and one thing that he mentioned there, if you were paying attention to what he said and all the things that he was doing out there, and is what we want to do here on the Meelypod Hobby Podcast, is just teach people and make them understand what this industry is about and the good, the bad, the ugly, all the things that through it. You said flipping. Yeah. And you think about that, you think about flipping houses. Somebody doing all that, but I guess that's something we can do in the card world that we'll have to dive into.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to really give people an understanding of what young people, not just young people, I mean, all ages, are making flipping cards at card shows. There are young people who are not making thousands of dollars. They're not making tens of thousands of dollars. They're making hundreds of thousands of dollars in flipping cards, going from place to place across the nation. And I have some young guys that I've talked to that are in the 7-figure amounts that they're making. Which is quite amazing to think about, what someone who is equipped with a smartphone, some know-how, and some savviness and some negotiating skills can do. So maybe down the line we'll have a young flipper in or something like that to talk through. But there were so many people buying and selling at the show, and somebody might buy from me and go sell to the guy across the room, and somebody might know of a guy who buys this back home. So it's nonstop. It's really a marketplace is what it is.
It certainly is. Well, speaking of flipping, I think the Clemson fans were flipping out that the Gators strolled into their town. But what a great environment. So kudos to the Clemson fans that were there. Great baseball fans. It really reminded me of the first time I walked into Fenway or Yankee Stadium. Like, people were standing up in the first inning with 2 outs, and clapping and yelling and screaming. And I grew up going to Marlins and Rays games, so those atmospheres, aren't nearly the same as St. Louis and places like that. But give a lot of credit to what Kevin O'Sullivan and that baseball team has been able to do. So I guess in my world, I get a little spoiled, Jameel. It's now 9 times in 14 years that I will go to the College World Series as a broadcaster. This will be my 11th time overall, 10th as a broadcaster. I got to go once as a player. And people don't understand, like, it's really, really hard to get there. And, the cool part is you get to take the family this time of year. So I remember we went in 15, 16, 17, and 18. So 4 years in a row. And my daughter at that time was 6, 7, 8, and 9 years old. So kind of like growing up. And then the Gators don't make it in 2019. And I remember her coming to me and like crying, bawling her eyes out. Daddy, we're not going to Omaha? Like, no, it's really hard to get there. Like, she just thought it was a normal thing because of the success. So, big shout out to Kevin O'Sullivan, this Gator team, for turning it around and getting back there. They've never done it from the road before, getting to Omaha like that. So, pretty special deal.
And the way they're doing it, too, right? You know what I mean? Just team effort. I mean, grinding that game out. You guys got to give it up for 5.5 hours or so of vocal cord use on the radio. It's these golden chords over here, but that was a long game, and now headed the College World Series. So we have no idea what can happen. It's really a storybook kind of season for the Gators, and it's fun watching just these guys come out of nowhere and produce.
It's baseball, and you never know. Guys figure it out at certain times. Certainly, guys get hot, and some are not hot. But bottom part of the order's doing some things, and then. Again, I think for everybody that watches him on TV, and I know he'll have millions and millions of cards and autographs, but getting to watch Jack Caglione every day has been the real deal.
Special. Pitching and hitting that game.
Whatever I have to do, like whenever you find his first card or something, that's something I got to get.
Yeah, well, we'll get into some other first cards here in a second. But, I'm excited for just to see what's going to happen with the Gators. We have this big event at our shop on Saturday, our 6-year anniversary sale. But I want to do something special, and the Olympics are coming up. So we have Grant Holloway and Marquise Dendy, who are incredible athletes. They are Gator alumni. They'll be heading to the Olympic trials, and we're hoping, and most likely, they'll be in the Olympics in Paris in a few weeks. And so we're gonna have an autograph signing in our shop. So it'll be kind of a send off for these guys before they go. So if you are in North Florida and you want to meet an Olympian and you want to meet somebody, I mean, Holloway's silver medalist from 4 years ago. Dendy is national champion and world champion, those kinds of things. These guys, we want to send them off the right way. So,
no doubt.
So come on out. It'll be Saturday at 6 p.m. and get autographs. They were super gracious with their fees. It's like $15 an autograph, and if you want both of them, it's $25. And on top of that, we just ordered in studs, so you can get some autographed track shoes. You can get some photos. There's Grant Holloway has trading cards from a product called Sport Kings, and we'll have photos and just a bunch of stuff I'm working on. So come on out. It'll be a great time for the family, I think, if you can make it. And we have some Olympians who we want to send off right.
Amazing. And Grant Holloway, the world record holder right now for what he's done. He keeps breaking his own records. So really looking for big things in Paris this summer. And Grant's just such a great guy. Basically came here and inundated himself in this Gator community and absolutely loves what Florida has. Dating an athlete as well and doing all these things. So he was truly special. He's tried to delve into the golf world a little bit. Maybe stick to track. No, he's gotten better, but he great, just infectious personality and a guy. If you show up on Saturday and you meet him and Dendy, then you will be rooting. You will be glued in front of the television when those races are happening this summer. But really encourage everybody to go out there. Both really awesome individuals, and it's just it's strange because I'm 6'5", so I feel like I'm a lot taller than a lot of people, and then you stand next to Grant and just the legs and just what is there for him. He works really hard to make it happen.
His Instagram handle is, I think, like Flamingo. And it's
how
really,
he runs.
It's amazing to watch him in slow mo and how he attacks those hurdles. And then Dendy he's just got this swag to him. He wears a bucket hat when he jumps sometimes, and he's another personality like
sunglasses. Looks real.
And those guys, man, you talk about a supreme elite athletes, in the world. We have them here in Gainesville amongst a list of so many others in this Olympics, which is going to be fun. So I'm looking forward to that. And then, of course, we have our big trading day on Sunday, which we do about every 2 months, and everybody in the shop has been asking about that. We have a trading day in Gainesville Sunday, and then the following week we have one in South Carolina. So it's going to be bang bang trading days between the shops. But make sure you come out if you're around for those. That's always a lot of fun. Dendy loves. He's a collector too, which is awesome to see these guys that compete that are collectors. So
very awesome.
But I'm looking forward to this week's releases. We'll share a little bit with you about that. There's a lot of things coming out in the hobby in general. And we got some stuff in front of us. For those of you who don't know, make sure you do check out our Facebook or YouTube postings. You can get the Steve Spurrier autograph raffle. All you got to do is comment on one of those postings, and we're going to be giving those away in June. We brought a special card we'll share a little bit later. But, let's jump into some wax.
All right, what do we got here? Is this they look new and Series 2, so maybe some short printed stuff in there?
Yeah, so this is 2024 Series 2 baseball. Series 1, obviously the LE Chase everybody wanted. But we actually have, and if you want, feel free to open up some packs while we do this. Hold
on, before you do that, have you, because you're 6 years now just in the shop, have you found out that like going 3 down and 1 over or something is the better cards? Is there a technique to this if you're picking a pack out of a store?
This is like the age-old hobby shop folklore, right? I mean, what number pack, what number box, where do you go? Do you listen to the pack? Is there a special number on the box? There's so many things that happen at the shop with how people pick packs. Topps has done a pretty good collation. Sometimes there are boxes where they put the autograph and then it's a mistake, and so we shuffle those up when we sell those packs. But this product is brand new, Series 2 Topps, which is for me just a quintessential flagship. You got Series 1, Series 2, and Update. And this year in Topps Series 2, we have some super short prints of rookies. Wyatt Langford has his first rookie card. Potentially, you might pull him right now in this. It's a super short print, as well as Jackson Holiday, Jackson Churio, Merrill. There's a bunch of names in it, but it's just a fun. I love this product. They changed the design with a black border this year. Let's see if we can get somebody. Look at that first pack mojo autograph. You're not even guaranteed an autograph in a box. Heston Kjerstad.
No way.
Look at that. That's got to go to Jeff. That's got to go to your PC there. Heston rookie card too.
He is one of the better hitters that I've ever seen in college. Went to Arkansas and watched this guy, and I said, there's no doubt he's going to be in the big leagues, one of the top Oriole prospects. But that whole organization is ridiculous. I know he's already got called up and then back down. He's been up and down like Jackson Holiday a little bit. But looking at Kjerstad, and that's what's cool. I mean, I look at all this SEC guy.
You might be opening this box the whole rest of the segment. I might have lost Jeff.
Miami guy, LSU guy. So that's what's cool about doing college baseball is all these guys. And obviously I'm a Braves fan, but as you go through this, you start to root for guys that are Braves, but then they were Gators, but they go to different teams, and it's like, well, I can't not root for Brady Singer.
Yeah, of course not.
So things like that, but it's really fun. But it's a great pull.
We'll add that to Jeff's PC.
Sweet.
I'm gonna have Jeff open this pack. For those of you who don't know, you get they call them the silver packs, but really it's a purple pack.
Okay.
You get one in every box for hobby, and then you get 2 in the jumbo, which is a lot of fun because these are the chrome cards. They have a really nice kind of moho finish, you'll see. And maybe we'll see if we got any more luck. Is that a gold? Oh my goodness.
Is that good?
In 3 packs, Jeff and I pulled an auto, and now we have a gold autograph of Emerson. Who's that?
Emerson Hancock.
For the Marlins.
Out of 50.
This is a gold. Look at this. We're just on fire tonight, guys.
Wow.
This is going to be an awesome podcast. We have another card shop guy as our guest today. He's one of the best in the business, probably the best in the business. His name is Andy Albert. We're going to be with him in just a moment. But he and I were talking about Series 2. He was at the Midwest Monster this weekend, and just love the fact that it's a very affordable box. It's like I think we're selling these for like $82. Hobby box. You get an autograph. You can come in. Dads bring their sons. They open these up and shop. And this is what really baseball cards is. This is what we do. I told you guys. I lost Jeff. He's done for the day. So, but we're looking forward to this. Some other wax that's coming out this week. We do have. Who'd you get?
Cardinals team card.
Ooh, let's go to mine.
I'll give you that one.
Let's go Cardinals team card. So there's some other wax coming out this week. Not a lot. We do have one big release, 23-24 optic basketball. So Wembanyama's hollow chromes, his rated rookies. He doesn't have autographs because of the Fanatics deal. But one thing I forgot to talk to you about this is Topps is really pushing their contracts. Victor Wembanyama has autographs in this product in a Yankees jersey. There's a dual rookie. There's a dual autograph with him in C.J. Stroud, and there's a autograph pull with Juan Soto and Daddy Yankee.
Wow.
In this, so they're mixing a lot of culture and things like that inside the box. But we got that coming out, Optic Basketball as well, and then it's a very light week of releases. Pokemon Japanese, Scarlet and Violet, Night Wanderer, which again for you Pokemon TCG folk, you'll be excited about. So yeah, not a heavy week for Wax. Next week's pretty heavy, but Series 2 is the big monster for the week.
Yeah, that is great stuff, and already just in 3 packs. Some special stuff.
Look at that.
Encourage you and get there this weekend for the 6-year anniversary. Again, we are broadcasting from Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grille here in Celebration Point. And this is now the place in Gainesville. It's kind of nuts with the transfer portal going on. I know there's quick little few days that we're in town before going back to Omaha, but Kevin O'Sullivan has brought in a couple of big recruits, hosted them for dinner. Shaq's daughter were here.
It's amazing.
Over the weekend, and there were 17 different football recruits with Napier as they had more official visits over the weekend. So Spurrier's is a place to be. Coaches often stopping by, blowing the whistle and
giving speeches and pep talks. Yeah.
So it's good stuff. And of course, you can always watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter Live and all these various types of apps.
Yeah, and the podcast world. Yeah.
Right.
You can find us on all those platforms. So yeah, looking forward to it. As we get into this next segment, when we come back, we'll have Mr. Andy Albert from Indy Card Exchange, a card shop owner. And before we get him on, I wanted to have a card shop owner on early. I wanted to have somebody who I respected in this world and I think has a lot of insight that for you hobbyists will really enjoy. Jeff's going to get into these packs.
Yeah, one more.
We'll see you in a short time, and we'll bring back Andy from Indy Card Exchange.
Albert, Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
This is Jameel, owner of the Meelypop shop, Gainesville's home for collectibles of all sorts, including every single type of sports cards, whether it be Panini, Topps, Leaf, Upper Deck. We have it. Come on in, get yourself a box, a pack, get yourself some supplies, get into our breaks, get your Pokemon, get your Yu-Gi-Oh! All the other different kinds of TCG products that we carry and shop are always fully in stock. You can find our stuff on our website as well, meelypops.com. That's another way you can interact with the store, or you can just come into the shop. We're located off 39th Avenue by I-75 behind Walgreens and Sonny's. Stop on by. We're open every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you can check us out on our social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, whatnot, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We'd love to see you. Come on out to the shop, have some fun, be a part of the card community here in Gainesville, and always go Gators.
This is segment 2 of show number 2. It's the Meelypod Hobby Podcast, Jeff and Jameel. And each week we're going to try to bring on someone of influence, somebody special. And Jameel's found somebody across the United States that I hear is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, so when I started this card shop back in 2018, I did not have many mentors or people to talk to. And there were there's only a handful of people who really ever reached out and that I had gone and asked about, what's this like? Am I going to hate this? Is my wife going to kill me? All these things. And Andy Albert from Indy Card Exchange has been not only a mentor, but also somebody who's just a huge voice in the hobby and truly understanding card shops. And when you go to his shop, and we're going to talk to him all about it, it is an amazing, amazing, amazing place. It's always busy. It's always filled with kids. It's always filled with families. The prices are always right. And I wanted to resemble our card shop. And then I thought, what better to have somebody like that on initially who's been in this business, and he'll tell you how long he's been in this business, but who just really has done it the right way. So without further ado, we looks like we have him zoomed in here. I am going to get a chance to introduce this hobby giant, if you will, Andy Albert from Indy Card Exchange. Let's see if we can get him on screen. All right, I think there he is.
What's up, Jeff and Jameel?
How you doing, man? How's the weather?
Great, man, thank you. The weather's beautiful. It feels like Gainesville, Florida, all year long right now today.
Yeah, I was up there with you last weekend, and there were some breezes at night. We don't really get those anymore down here, buddy, in the summer. No. So you got that at least.
No humidity up here. You guys can. My brother lives in Sarasota, so he knows all about the humidity, and so do we. It's pretty rough down there.
Yeah, it gets muggy. So let's chat, man, about the Midwest Monster. You and I literally were at this massive card show right in your hometown. You were really a big part of getting that show going in the Midwest. Was it 2 years ago, I think? And I would love to kind of hear some of your thoughts on the show, but also what are your favorite parts as a card shop owner? Because I'm seeing a lot of card shop owners not going to shows, but you're very active in shows. So what is your favorite part about being at these like mega shows?
Yeah, I mean, starting that show with Jeff, with J&J, the guy who runs it, it was a lot of fun because we'd kind of been dreaming it up for almost a year and a half. It's like, how can we do a really good regional show that brings in everybody across the country, kind of feels like a little miniature national, if you will, because the national convention's coming up shortly. And, we dreamt up, let's do it in more of an Indiana style atmosphere. We're doing it inside of a big basketball tournament arena with, 420 to 450 tables. And it's gotten bigger and bigger out throughout the 3 shows that we've done year after year. And we're excited about it. I mean, it's just this past weekend was just insanely busy. And I'll tell you, you were there, Jameel. That Friday literally felt like a day at the National of how many people were there, how many deals were being done, all the buying, selling, and trading going on. And then, the most important thing, back to your question, to me, it always has been, is the relationships with new people and established relationships that we've had. And, that's how we got to know each other, created a strong bond and, in the card shop world. And that's the same thing, how we reflect on how we do our card shows. The ones that we do attend, they're all about, seeing the same people that come back and getting to know the person before you deal with the cards. That's very important in my life.
Andy, when I was collecting 25 years ago, and none of those cards are worth anything because they were all mass produced, I guess is what I hear.
So you've been let down already, Jeff?
Yes, a big time. But I remember going in, you're so excited. You're not paying a lot for these cards, but it was just the fun of opening packs and having kids around and doing all these things. And that's kind of what I envisioned what a card shop was, and having the community. And Jameel says you have a great kids club out there. Like, how special is that to get the younger audience involved?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, that's probably my favorite part when it comes to the personal side of things, is establishing this kids club. With our GM Jake and I dreamt that up about 8 years ago, and it's grown to the point where we have over 1,000 active members of kids that are in our kids club. And it's a free membership, so it's a sacrifice financially on our end, but it's rewarding, where the reward definitely outweighs the sacrifice of what we do. We give them a free gift every single month they come in. They get to check off their little membership card. They get a reward for having good grades every semester, and then we give them a little birthday gift. It's a free $10 store credit every month. It's the month of their birthday, excuse me. And then we're really excited about this year's huge event that we have in August, where we're renting out the AAA ballpark in downtown Indianapolis and doing a kids club annual event where we're going to have athletes there, mascots like Colts Blue and Boomer for the Pacers, and cool. Just really kind of showing them the love that they deserve and what collecting's all about. So it's been a blast, and to see it grow where it's gotten to gets me super excited.
No doubt.
I mean, that's just a tribute to the success you've had. I mean, that you think about across the nation, hearing a kids club with 1,000 active members, that is just unheard of. And what you and Jake and the team have done has been, I think, just it's the example, it's the blueprint for other shops to follow, and hopefully we can do more of that. I mean, we love the trade days, we love the times we can do stuff for kids. We have our anniversary sale coming up this weekend. It's our anniversary of the shop, and so we just want to bless kids and give them things, because that's what the hobby has always been about. I mean, you were younger and remember guys giving us stuff and getting us excited about cards, and like you said, that's what it's about. So I mean, just thinking about your shop, man, everywhere I go, everybody always has such high regards for Indy Card Exchange. Everybody always talks about it. Has it been as easy as you make it look? And like, what do you really attribute this success to? I mean, so many people want to know.
No, it's not been as easy at all. I mean, it takes a lot of work. It takes a ton of time and effort. I'm only one person. We have 14 people on staff right now. We have 7 full-time and 7 part-time. And it takes every single one of us every day. And you've got to keep those buckets full, like from a business perspective. There's not just people walking in the door to buy, sell, and trade. We've got the grading aspect like you have, Jameel. We've got the online breaking. We've got consignment sales. We've got in-store purchases of collections. There's so many different things that help a card shop, stay full in a way. And there's a huge life cycle that you have to kind of keep all those pieces. Like I call them the spokes of the wheel. intact, because if not, things can fall apart very quickly. So, it all goes back though to relationships, because like you said earlier, like I was a kid that went to a card shop, and the card shop I went to influenced me to enjoy the hobby and to collect and to continue it for more of a longevity than just a quick short period of time where once you get into high school, you give up and you want to hang out with girls and have a new car and all that kind of stuff. I was that nerd that just kept it going, and have enjoyed every aspect of it, because the card shop that I was able to go to was such a positive influence on my life.
You keep saying that word influence, and I think everybody's got memorable things that they certainly have changed their lives. And, I think the memorable image, as I was kind of looking around in your stuff, is that Notre Dame logo right there, kind of the forefront. What's that all about?
Oh, I mean, grew up in South Bend, Indiana. It's hard not to be a Notre Dame fan, right, guys? I mean, the Jerome Bettis days and the Tim Brown days, those were my influential years as well. And, I'll never forget. Let's go. We're talking to guys in Gainesville, the Sugar Bowl in 1993.
Yeah,
Notre
Jerome
Dame
Bettis
beat up on Florida, but we lost to Boston College and didn't win a national championship after we had beaten the Seminoles. Excuse me.
I think you were right. I don't think you made a mistake there. You didn't have to correct yourself. Yeah,
that was
okay,
right.
Okay, good. Yeah, we beat Charlie Ward's Florida State Seminoles that weekend before, and then lost to Boston College and didn't get the national championship. But then Jerome Bettis kind of trucked the Florida Gators at the Sugar Bowl too, which I'm still hurt by that. I was only 15 years old, and it's been 30 years, and I'm still hurt by that year. So
yeah, it's crazy, man, and it might hurt a little bit. You talked about the criminals. Their baseball coach Link Jarrett comes down here and now has the semis back in Omaha. So yeah,
he left the Irish. That one hurt a little bit too, man. I guess Tallahassee's weather is a tad bit better than South Bend, Indiana, so I've heard.
Fair enough.
Just a tad bit. Yeah, just a tad bit. So just thinking about these things, I think sometimes people always focus on the positives and the pluses in the card shop, and it's all bowls of cherries and bunnies running around, and ice cream. That's not the card shop. Maybe it'd be cool to hear, what are some of the tough things that you experience as a card shop owner? Struggles, issues in the shop, things. I think people want to hear that sometimes, because all we do hear is how great everything is.
Yeah. I mean, theft is the biggest issue. I know we both have dealt with that multiple times over our tenure as well. I mean, that is the hardest part, because it falls back on the owner to have to address it and deal with it. I mean, that one hurts a lot, because we know how hard we work to buy those collections, to pay fairly, to price it fairly, and then to have it taken away from you is very hurtful. That's something that I've dealt with, and the way that we address it, I think, is different, because Jake, Jameel, and you and I, our faith is very important to us. So you want to give people a chance to be able to forgive them and show them that we love them no matter what, even if they try to take from us. And that's been the biggest challenge probably for me is, some people want to step on people's throats after they've stolen from us, but I want to give them a chance to, be remorseful. And, if they're not, then there's a whole different story, right? But if they are, let's show them some love. Let's see if we can get them to understand what it means and how much it hurts you when things like that happen from a business perspective.
We're talking with Andy Albert from the Indy Card Exchange here. And, another thing that when Jameel and I were talking, you and I are about the same age. So I think we come and grow up in that era of, we know who the real best basketball player ever is. And, I do a radio show in the afternoons, and you get these LeBron arguments, and they float in there. And, maybe his cards are worth a bunch and all this other stuff. But you've got to have some MJ stuff, because, you're up in that neck of the woods, so to speak, too. And I hear I got excited when we opened this wax earlier, and I got like a $50 Hurston Kerstad card. So that's probably about your Jordan cards, right?
Yeah, they're about $50 for sure. Maybe back in 1995. Yeah.
You got any of those things with you?
I do. I brought you guys some show and tell items. I think it'd be fun. I've collected Jordan since I was probably my first box of cards was 1988 Fleer basketball, and I was 10 years old. That was the year that Jordan had won that dunk contest the previous year and had the free throw line dunk. Yeah. And that picture is on the All-Star card from 1988. So how can you not like that set to start out? And my collection shifted to the high-end inserts from the 90s, because I love the aesthetics of cards. And, aesthetics are more important than value, in my opinion, but thankfully they all combined and clashed at the same time in the 90s, where aesthetics and value are making these cards worth a lot of money. So, I brought in 7 cards. I'll just show off. And I think a lot of collectors would, that know the Jordan market, would appreciate some of these. This is the shiny Ultra Stars Michael Jordan from, that would be 97, 98 Fleer, a very rare card in a PSA 10. There's a gold version of this too, Jameel knows about, I'm sure, that makes it even more valuable. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars here.
Yes. Ultra Stars PSA 10. Those cards, another thing people forget about is how chippy they were on the edges and how hard it is to grade some of these cards. Because back in the 90s, I mean, they were kind of curating and learning how to make inserts, right? So a lot of the times to find like a pristine PSA 10 copy of like a rare insert from that era is impossible. Wow. So that grade's awesome on that.
Yeah. This is one of my top 5 favorites of all time. This is because I love the Jordan in the black jersey. This is called the Noise Boys. Mm-hmm. And this was from also the 98-99 Skybox Thunder set. And this thing was absolutely so hard to pull, especially in a PSA 10. I think there's only like 20 PSA 10s that exist in this card, and it's probably running around 30 grand right now. It's pretty crazy. So,
that card with the cuts on it too, all the Noise Boys, all the intricacies of that card. Again, to get to 10 is like, that's why it's so hard. Like they were so unique back in the 90s. That card, that's one of my faves. Noise Boys is one of my favorite insert sets.
That's pretty cool.
Me too. Anything with the Jordan black jersey with the red pinstripes, I'm a sucker for. I'll pay crazy money for that stuff. This one's fun, Jameel. I don't know if you guys have seen this one before, but this is and I've got good pictures you'll be able to see. Hopefully you'll be able to pop up on the podcast. But this is the Jordan and Kobe Bryant Mystery Finest Refractor, and it's in a PSA 10. There's only 11 of these 10s that exist in the marketplace. So that one I'm pretty proud of, because this is from the era that Jordan and Kobe both played in, which was only 3 years until Jordan retired. So 96, 97, and 98, Bulls won their last championship. Jordan retired. I don't count the Wizards years, so let's just write that Wizards era off personally. But so that's a fun one, because that's probably one of the rarest Kobe Jordan that are on the same card that exists. This one right here, we all love our donuts, right?
Dunkin' Go Nuts.
This is the Dunkin' Go Nuts. It's Michael Jordan, PSA 10, and it's the best story ever, but I don't know how much time we have on the podcast.
Sure.
Jeff, you'd enjoy the story. So Dunkin' Go Nuts, it was a one and done set. And the reason it was a one and done set, it was probably one of the most popular Jordan inserts that still exists to this day. But Upper Deck was issued a cease and desist letter from Dunkin' Donuts themselves, because it was such a trademark infringement, because the logo looked exactly like Dunkin' Donuts
it's exactly like it.
They couldn't make this set ever again. And they got away with it the first year without getting any sort of licensing rights. So it's kind of fun. That's a one and done set, but it's still one of the most popular Jordan inserts that exists.
Heck yeah.
And those acetates too, a lot of people will find those cards, and what happens is over time they actually turn colors. They get to this
they
beige,
turn yellow,
yellowish, brown. Sometimes I've seen brownish ones too. And that one,
and this one still has its crystal clear.
It's clear. So another big add on that is just that it's a clear PSA 10. You just decided to bring big boys out, not small ones. You just decided to bring the big boys out today.
You told me to, Jameel. You said go to the safety deposit box and go grab the good stuff. So I've got 3 more to show you, and I'll let you guys go. But this is great. This is the Natural Born Thrillers is what this card's called. So we've got Natural Born Thrillers. This is like a 3D card. So the Jordan part is cut out of the card, and in the background is that really neat, like polka dot.
It's like a fence.
I mean, I just love this card. It is. It's exactly right. And then it's got a cool etched picture of Jordan on the back too. But big fan of that one. I'm not a huge autograph guy. I don't really care about getting autographs per se, but if there's a good autograph to have, it's this one. And I've only got 3 or 4 Jordan autos in my entire collection, but this one here is the black jersey, like I told you guys about. It's got the red pinstripe in it. It's got a beautiful on-card auto, and it's a PSA 10 with a 10 auto as well. So this card is, if you're going to have a good Jordan one, this is the one to have for sure. It's beautiful. It's got all the
kids would call it a PSA
marks.
20.
Yeah.
And then there's the big argument, Jameel. I don't know how you feel about this one, and Jeff, if you're familiar with it, but there's the big Jordan rookie debate, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which card is Jordan's true rookie card? For 15 years in my life, since I've had some sort of influence on the hobby, I have fought that the Jordan Star rookie from 1984-85 is the rookie card of Michael Jordan. It's called the Star 101, and I currently own 8 of these, and this is my biggest one. This is the Star 101 PSA
Wow.
8 Michael Jordan rookie.
Mm.
And a 9, there's only 3 9s that exist of this card. There's 0 PSA 10s. PSA just started grading these cards about 2 years ago. It tells you how hard the card is to get in high grade. There's 23 copies of the 8, but the fact that there's only 3 9s, 1 9 just sold for $925,000.
Yeah.
It's insane. So my 8 just went up in value because the 9 sold for what it sold for.
Yeah.
We don't even know what the 8's worth anymore right now because 1 hasn't sold for probably 6 months. And ever since that big mega sale of the 9 sold, all the star rookies have finally risen and gotten some of the respect that they deserve. So,
yeah, that's pretty
fun.
incredible just to see him like that. I guess I wonder too, because unique stuff and different things. Jameel's schooling me in, which obviously all those are unique. Do any of the ones when he went and played for the Barons or a White Sox card, or is there anything like that that's special, or that was never really amounted to anything?
There's a few exceptions to some decent baseball card Jordans just because they were somewhat rare, like from the SP series in 1994. There's a die cut version where he's wearing his White Sox uniform. The Barons cards don't have much value at all. I have to kind of crush a lot of people's dreams on a daily basis when they bring the Jordan baseball cards in.
Yeah.
But it's still collectible. You know, you got to go with collectible versus investable. The cards I have are very investable and collectible.
Yeah.
The cards that you just mentioned are very collectible cards. There's not going to be this crazy rise in value, but people still want them. It's like the Billy Ripken 89 Fleer card. We all know that one, right?
Oh yeah.
It's not super valuable, but it's a collectible card that's iconic in the industry. So there's just those kind of things, and those baseball cards of Jordan are one of those examples.
Yeah, we have
stuff.
to go back and look through some of the baseball cards of Jordan that you have in your PC. Probably,
Yeah.
I'm sure you got a few. The die cut SP is the one I can think of that maybe is the biggest value PSA 10
Yes.
pop on that card. But well, thanks for showing us some of those. I mean, just run of the mill Michael Jordan cards that you just had sitting around your back pocket. As you know, we have a massive event coming up in about 6 weeks. I'm lucky enough to be booth mates with Andy and his team. It's the National Card Show, and it's in Cleveland. It's in a few weeks. It's the last full week of July, and maybe Andy will have some unique Jordans. But those kinds of cards that Andy showed, and not to downplay what Andy just showed, but you will see lots of types of high-end, incredibly rare cards in a show that has, I think last year they said something like 90 to 100,000 people showed up over that week, right? I mean, it's an incredible time. So I was just thinking, I'd love to get some of your thoughts about the National in regards to just this year. Maybe why would you think somebody should go to the National? I always hear that from a lot of the customers. What would you tell a customer of yours if they ask you that question?
Well, I mean, trading cards are all about the aesthetics, right? You want to see something cool. You want to enjoy something that you've probably not experienced before. And like you just said, Jameel, going to the National provides you that. You get everything that you want to see, whether you don't spend $1 or whether you spend $1 million, you get to see some of the things that are so unique to the hobby that everybody and their mother is bringing in from all over the world. So that to me is exciting. I actually am jealous of a lot of the, just customers that get to walk the show, because you and I are so busy at the show. We don't even get to walk around and see everything. It's such a busy atmosphere, but if you haven't, it's like one of those bucket list items. Like, as a sports fan, I want to go to the Masters. I want to go to Fenway Park and Wrigley Field and Yankee Stadium and things like that, right? I want to see that. And you guys need to come to Notre Dame Stadium because that's a bucket list item too. But from a collector's perspective, you've got to go to the National because it's truly a collector's bucket list item. And if you haven't gone yet, Cleveland's a great atmosphere to go to because it's a lot more spaced out. It's a lot more laid back. Nothing wrong with Chicago, which is where we go to every other year. I'm a fan of Chicago because it's only a 3-hour drive from us, but it's a lot more compact. It's a lot more expensive. It's a lot more overhead, but you have to come. I heavily encourage everybody who has a chance to come check out a National. And this year in Cleveland should be one of the best, if not the best, when it comes to number of people and the quality items that are going to be there. Yeah, and I can't wait to be set up with you. I can't wait to be set up with you too, Jameel. We're gonna have some fun.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Have either of you guys ever seen the Honus Wagner, the card?
I mean, they've had it.
Yeah,
they've had it there before, right? Some of the auction houses have had different versions of the Wagner.
Remember last year at the Tops conference, we got to see the Arizona Diamondbacks owner's Honus Wagner. Remember that?
Oh, wow.
I wasn't there.
That was huge.
I wasn't there that Sunday, but he had the PSA 10 Mantle 52, right?
He had over, I think we valued it at over $100 million worth of trading cards that he had. It was insane. I mean, he had everything that you could possibly think of from the vintage era in the highest grade possible. Couldn't believe it.
Amazing.
And again, that's what you see at the National. You get a chance to be exposed to that. Your kids get a chance. I remember seeing a customer holding one of Babe Ruth's game-used bats and taking a picture with Heritage. So, like, there's just so many opportunities with that. But we're looking forward to it. Make sure we'll have a lot of information on both of our socials for Andy and I. Please find us at the National if you get a chance and you follow this podcast. Come visit us. We want to say hello to you, and we want to give you a hug. And like Andy said, we want to build that relationship, which is, I think, more key than anything in this hobby as we go. We're running out of time, but there's 100%. two things I wanted to ask you before we close out. We're going to do a rapid fire here in just a moment. But one thing I love what you do in your shop is that you have like a grading station. And you have an ability to sit down with people that come in and who may not know what they have. And you have kind of a consultation. You have people sit down and look at cards with them and encourage them to grade them and how to grade them. And you educate to the nth degree. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on grading in the next 5 years. And the reason why is it seems like everybody is grading, and everybody is grading with all these different companies now. So PSA used to just be BGS and PSA. You didn't really have anything else. Maybe SGC in the 90s with kind of the vintage. But now we have a lot going on. So let me know. Tell the people what your thoughts are as we move forward into this kind of slab era. And then if you have a second to kind of share a little bit about what you do for customers.
Yeah. No, I mean, the grading thing is a vital piece, right, Jameel? I mean, because it helps kind of bridge the collectible and the business side of things, right? Because now that once it's slabbed, it's a much easier sale. It's a transactable, quantifiable number on a card. It eliminates subjectivity. That's what I always tell a lot of people is like we go from subjective to objective when it comes to having a card graded. When we talk about our grading station, I'm glad you brought that up because Kevin does such a good job. He's our head of grading in the shop, and his consultative services save people so much money. And that's what we always try to tell people is we're not trying to take your cards and just send them in. We want to give you that consultative aspect where this card's only going to grade a 7. And if you graded this, you spent more money on the grading fee than you'll ever get in return for the card. So those are the kind of things that we offer up for the services, and we only charge $2 a card to be able to do that. So if you're spending 20, we're only charging you 2, and we just saved you probably several $100s on 30 cards that you shouldn't have sent in the first place. So that's really the point of doing the grading station and sitting down with people and cleaning up their cards and showing them exactly why we don't think it's worth sending in, and establish a trust with them. They truly trust our services and our consultations, and the success rate has been enormous when it comes to what they get back on the stuff that we help them send in. So it's been huge. We love it, and we'll continue to let it grow. And I can't wait to be able to see, what the next steps are when we work with these big grading companies.
Yeah, tremendous insight, and I think that you guys have just done it very well. I know a lot of shops that's a huge component to everything that we do now. And I love seeing just smiling faces when people get their, PSA 10s or, a mid-grade, high-grade mantle and SGC, whatever it is. I love to see that because now they know what it's worth. They know that how they can transact it, pass it down, moving on from that. So, all right, man, we're running out of time. I knew this wouldn't be enough time. We probably could talk for hours on end on more. But I wanted to kind of give viewers and people as they kind of catch this podcast as we grow a little bit more into the Andy Albert and the card shop owner that you are. So, my friend, I've put together some rapid fire questions, and there's some hobby specific. There's some that are personal. There's some that are from left field, and this will be kind of the gauntlet, I guess you call it, our rapid fire segment. You're our first guinea pig in this, so thank you for you didn't really volunteer. I'm making you do it, I guess, but I'm gonna have some fun with you. So, are you ready for this, sir?
Fire away, Jameel.
All right, I'm gonna do it. We're trying with the Zoom here to go as fast as possible. You can keep your answers as short or as long as you like. Short is probably better, but here we go. You ready?
Ready.
First question: top loader or semi-rigid?
Top loader. Semi-rigids are only for grading.
Got it. Kobe Bryant or Larry Bird?
Larry.
Ooh. Mag with a sleeve
legend.
Or mag without a sleeve?
Mag with a sleeve. I hate scratched mags.
Nice. MLB or NFL?
NFL. I'm not a baseball fan.
I think I know the answer to
I'm
this next one. Well, you might be out after this one. SEC or Big Ten?
All right, Big Ten, because Notre Dame's going to eventually join the Big Ten. I know the SEC's the giant, but I'm in the Midwest, man.
Yeah, you got to answer that one. All right, you kind of answered it earlier. I had it written down. You kind of took some thunder. Michael Jordan rookie card, star or Fleer? Obviously, it's going to be star, right?
Star 101, baby. I have my license plate on the back of my car that says STR 101. That's how much
Really?
I believe in it.
There you
That's
go,
amazing.
baby. We'll have to talk about the Jordan I graded at the National a long time ago. That's a sad story. Out of the bag we cut. All right, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Draft break or serial number break?
Draft break. Everybody gets a card.
LeBron James on a fast break or Michael Jordan ISO at the top of the key?
Come on.
Just wanted
MJ at the top of the key over Brian.
Just want to make
Russell
sure.
for the win.
Just want to make sure. Card ladder or 130 point?
100% card ladder. I am such a big fan of card ladder.
It's great. Ribs or brisket?
Brisket. Best brisket. Can't beat it.
Last shot to win the game. Steph or Reggie?
Oh, you added that one, didn't you? I'm going with Steph, even though I love Reggie.
There you go. Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram. Don't like TikTok. Don't have TikTok.
Let's see about this next one. Newt Rockney or Frank Lay?
Newt Rockney. He's the OG.
Ooh. The OG. I like it. Customer asks you to pick. Oh, sorry. Customer asks you to pick a box for them. They're in shop. You got 7 boxes on shelf. What number is the Andy pick?
Every single employee knows my number. It's number 2.
Ooh.
I always pick number 2.
I'm a 4 guy, but I like 2 as well. They're
Okay.
divisible by each other. Okay. Raw vintage or slabbed modern?
Raw vintage. I have grown to love vintage more than you can imagine. It's been awesome.
So next question in that, Babe Ruth or Ty Cobb?
Babe Ruth, because we're both chubby.
Perfect fit or a team bag?
Perfect fit.
Ooh, and this goes back to earlier, Tim Brown or Jerome Bettis?
Oh, the bus. I got to meet the bus in person. That guy is awesome. I love Jerome Bettis.
Awesome.
Should Caitlin Clark be on the 2024 women's basketball Olympic team?
Yes.
Ooh, controversial. Indy 500?
She's getting
getting
sorry,
beat
go
up.
ahead.
No, I say Indy
Getting
500.
jobbed right now.
She is. Indy 500, Brickyard 400, or the U.S. Grand Prix for you, Mr. Indianapolis?
100% Indy 500. It's
We'll
another
make
bucket
sure.
list item. You guys have to come check out. I'll hook you up. Come see it. It's the best. And
Drink
we
some
have
milk.
a bunch of drivers that are customers now too, so it's even better.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
Almost there. You're almost to the gauntlet. T206 or 33 Gaudi?
I like the Gaudis. T206s are ugly.
Rudy or any given Sunday?
Come on, I was in the movie Rudy, Jameel.
Oh,
really?
man.
Yeah,
Well, we got
I'm in the
to
stands.
stop and hear the
Yeah, we
story
gotta
on
hear
that
this.
then.
I was in the stands when they filmed a bunch of the scenes because they needed a full stadium. So they filmed it during halftime of a real game back in the 90s. And so the part where Rudy's like begging to get in with a ticket or with $5 and the usher won't let him in, the camera goes up to the top of the stadium from outside and then zooms over the top and it goes right over my head, my dad and I. So
Oh, that is awesome.
you can see the back of my head is in the movie Rudy.
Sweet.
I need to get that filmed, and we need to get you to autograph it.
Did everybody really chant Rudy, Rudy? Did that happen?
No, so that was when they only had like 1,000 people in the stadium, and they had like cornered it by where you could see just those people.
Okay.
But so we didn't get to do the chant. We just got to be part of the halftime films where they needed a full stadium, and Rudy comes running out on the field and everything like that. That's the part that I was in.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
We got royalty with us. I mean, I don't even know if I can keep going with all this. All right, like 6 more. All right, what's your go-to comfort food?
Oh, I love tacos. I love Mexican food all the time.
You know, LeBron coined Taco Tuesday. Maybe there's something there that we don't know about. I mean, Andy's favorite Pokemon.
Oh gosh, I can't even pronounce half of them. Let's go with Snorlax because I love to sleep.
Hey, that's good. I thought you might say Charizard. That's good. Who squats more, you or your son Quinn?
I'm going with Quinn. I can bench more, but he can squat more.
Quinn's a beast, man. He's a big lineman. He's
an
awesome.
offensive right tackle. He can.
Nice.
He's got some skills.
3 more. eBay or ComC?
ComC. Love ComC.
Nice. Hot, muggy July in Florida or cold, icy winter in Indy?
Cold. You can always warm yourself up, but it's so hard to cool yourself off. I love the cold, icy winters.
This is true. All right, last one. Best memory of any sports event that comes to mind.
Oh, man. This is not going to be rapid fire. I got to think for a second. I mean, the 93 Florida State win. I was there for that game when Notre Dame beat Charlie Ward, and I'll never forget it. I was 15 years old, and it set me up as a Notre Dame fan for life. I loved it.
That's a good one.
Yeah, anytime Florida State goes down, especially Charlie Ward.
We're kindred in that, Andy.
Yes, that is a good thing. And then, and then a few years later, 97, they strolled in here as the number one team in the country. Gators beat them. So, there's been a lot of good times where we are right now. Steve Spurrier
Spurrier podcast. There you go. Look at that. You guys, you see that?
He's learning.
He's learning
up there in the north.
Well, Andy, you've successfully completed the first Meelypod hobby podcast gauntlet of rapid fire questions. Thank you, sir.
Well, and
that was fun, man.
And I know I can go to Jameel to find out all the information, but tell everybody how they can find you and the info to get to the shop.
Yeah, so IndyCardExchange.com is our website. All the opportunities are there. If people want to do the grading side of things, they can reach out to us through our website. On Instagram, we are Ball Card Exchange. If you just search Indy Card Exchange, that pops up as well. We're on Facebook. We're not on TikTok. We're on Twitter as well. Social media, all the channels pretty much except TikTok. And we do online breaks 2 or 3 times a week as well on exchangeyourcardbreaks.com.
There you go. You guys, the best card shop in the nation, bar none. If you want the community, you want the atmosphere, go see Andy, go see Jake, go see the whole team they got there. Amazing folks there in the Midwest. And appreciate you, man. Thank you for being our first card shop interview owner on this podcast.
I'm honored. I was the second you invited me, so I appreciate that, Jameel, and I can't thank you enough for your friendship and everything that you stand for in this hobby too, man. It means a lot. You're a rock star as well. I know you're trying to tout me right now, but you guys are lucky down in Gainesville, Florida. That's all I can say.
No doubt. Very much so. Well said.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Pleasure meeting you, man.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you guys.
All right. So there you have it. Andy is awesome. I love the alliteration. That's what it's all about. And I think that's what's cool is just the friendships that you build, and whether it's in the athletic world or just talking to broadcasters or everybody. Like, I got asked the other day about Georgia and going to the World Series, and I said I'd rather have Georgia win over NC State. And somebody sat there and they criticized me. I was like, well, I know they're supposed to be Florida's rival, but like I'm really good friends with their radio guys. So it'd be kind of cool. So it's neat to have those types of relationships, guys you can call upon or to go hang out when you're in their town, and they welcome you right in. Pretty special stuff.
Yeah, Andy's he's great, and he's always just so inviting. That card show that we just had in Indianapolis, I mean, he's just kind of the host of it all, and so many shops have been really just kind of formed and modeled after his shop. So if anybody ever wants to know why there's cool card shops in America, it's probably because of people like Andy Albert. So
there you go. All right, we got to get another break. We'll come back and give you some more goodies. You're listening to the Meelypod Hobby Podcast. Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans. Well, awesome time talking with Andy. It's been awesome opening up all these wax packs. We've been having fun. Every commercial break, we're making them a little bit longer just so we can see all the goodies we get. I mean, Jameel, this is cool. I mean, this thing literally just came out. What are we looking at price-wise to come in the shop and snag?
Yeah, so these boxes run, I mean, about $90-ish range. You can actually find, there's a tool we use. I just pulled another Hessen Kerstad for you, by the way.
Look at that.
You can use this tool we use called WaxStat. That's it's kind of a marketplace, and it shows and compares prices of like wax and boxes. So like it's really good for brand new releases. A lot of people sometimes get really screwed by some prices that are way too high. So we price our boxes. You can find Meelypops on there as our prices on wax, but it's about an $85 to $100 box or $90 box, I would say.
Okay, so yeah, WaxStat, the easiest way to get real-time price comps of wax boxes, sealed products, and you can do it right from your mobile phone or even your laptop. Shop. Save money and time to get the best deal on wax. Again, waxstat.com. That is WAXSTAT.com. All right, you guys kept talking about the National, too, in this Midwest show that you were at. And I sit there and wonder, okay, so maybe something is a certain card and somebody's all of a sudden hot, and you can go back and listen to our first podcast. Because that, I think, more than anything, Acuna gets hurt when we're doing our first podcast, and all of a sudden his cards are going down. Wyatt Langford, who was so hot and incredible, goes down because he gets hurt, but now he's back up. He hit a big triple the other day, and maybe all of a sudden that stuff's going up. So as fluid as that kind of stuff is, how are we looking at when you go from just a card show in the middle of the country to then all of a sudden this national card show?
So the national, it's funny, it really dictates a lot of the summer buying.
Okay.
The auction houses, from Heritage to PWCC to eBay to Golden, all those places, a lot of people are buying inventory and buying things. So you see a lot of buying happening from, I would say, June to mid-July in preparations for the national because of inventory. It's such a need there. So many big buyers, so many people come from across the world. So even at this past show, this past weekend, there are people talking about buying cards to hold for 6 weeks, which to me is kind of crazy because you never know what's going to happen in 6 weeks. But there is that kind of connotation. I mean, maybe people buying Jordan rookies, or they're buying a patch auto Gretzky or something like that that's rare, that they know is very liquid. They can take to this and then open up their collecting opportunities, right? So many people come to trade at that event, come to sell at that event. So it really does dictate a lot of how that comes into the summer. Baseball, basketball, hockey are finishing. So I'm sorry, basketball and hockey are finishing. So you have, looks like the Celtics, and looks like I don't know with the Panthers and Oilers yet. We'll see if McDavid can pull a rabbit out of his hat there. But those big names, you think about Luka Doncic, right? You think about Connor McDavid. If they lose, what happens to their value? Do people really want them at the national? So there's still a risk there at play. But football is the one that I think everybody is just focused for. And the years past, it never used to be like this. So 5-10 years ago, basketball was king.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, the last 2-3 years, I mean, you all know what I'm talking about. You're seeing this rise of football. Prism basketball and Prism football prices being the same. That never used to be the case. And just seeing these comparatives now with these one-of-ones, like Mahomes has just torched, the hobby industry, right, his cards. And so you think about his values comparatively to someone like LeBron and Curry. Now, again, you're going to have the super high ends. Andy's talking about his Jordan rookie card, and, the Logo Man Jordan we just talked about sold for $2.9 million last week. We talked about that on the podcast. You're going to always have these outliers, but we're starting to see a more norm, right, with the quarterbacks holding value, these rare inserts, downtowns, kabooms, things like that, which everybody is trading at a high rate. So we prep for football season. The shift happens as the national approaches, and a lot of you at home are probably already thinking about what you're going to bring and take and look to buy at the national.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, if you're looking or watching or looking around, we are broadcasting from Coach's podcast room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grille here in Celebration Point in Gainesville. You can watch and listen to us Facebook, YouTube, Twitter Live, podcasts on so many different platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, 39 different platforms you can find this podcast on your favorites. And something weird that Andy said, because my favorite back in the day was getting autographs, and he's not as big of an autograph guy as maybe I was. Is that something that's part of the national show too? And I guess that's probably hard for you guys in the business, because so many people try to, he mentioned stealing and theft, and I'm sure there's a lot of just forgeries and fakeness. So is that something that's a big deal for the national show? Yeah,
you always have to, like, when anybody wants to sell you something that's not graded, that's high end, that's always the red flag that goes up. Why isn't it graded?
Yeah.
So there's things like measuring vintage cards that we have to take calipers to, and digital. There's lots of elements to this. When someone walks up to you with a 52 Mickey Mantle, well, why is this card not graded? So there's things like that go on. There is always going to be unfortunate, circumstances, people looking to do someone wrong. But for the most part, I think Andy's a purist, and in a lot of ways with cards, he grew up with this generation in the 90s when they didn't have autographed and jersey cards and all that stuff. It was truly about the aesthetics of the card, which I kind of am there as well. But the new age is definitely the patch autograph, the rookie autograph, the PSA 10 gem mint, all those kinds of things. So we've seen a shift, and I think that's why the hobby is so cool, because there's so many different opinions, dynamics to it all. You might enjoy something that I'm like, that's, bleh, and then I might love something you're like, what is that? So I think that's the cool part about, what we do in this hobby. Those inserts that he showed, those are cards that are super iconic. They're not numbered. They're not autographed. We just know they're rare, and they were made really poorly. So when you get them in a high grade, you kind of can just create that, value assessment when you look at it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to just kind of the greatest show on, Hobby Earth that is coming up, the National.
All right, before I let you go, then you did a little rapid fire with Andy, and this is just one question because you said my or your my favorite. Ooh, that thing is sweet. Is the 89 Upper Deck Griffey. How do you feel about is that a special card? I just love, I guess, the aesthetic part of it.
Yeah, I think it is for me because I grew up then, and I remember, how awesome it was to get that card, who the kid was, you know what I mean? So he was one of the coolest rookie cards to ever collect, I think, in sports. Shaq also came around in 92, 93, so 89 and 92, 93, that range, I think, you have them, maybe Jeter if you were, a Yankee snob or something, but I think you have two really unique, fun rookie cards to collect in that time frame. I love that card. I think it's one of the best.
Sweet.
And speaking of cards, we do have these Steve Spurrier autograph cards that we want to give away this month. Yep. Make sure you comment on our Facebook or our YouTube posting of episode 1 what you like about the podcast. That's all you got to do, and we're going to randomize all those names, and you can win these awesome autograph cards that we got from Coach last week. But next week, you're going to be at the World Baseball Classic. You're going to be at the College World Series, and we're going to have some fun with the remote.
Yeah, yet again, we'll go out there. We'll try to snag somebody that's fun. That's the cool part. You get all the celebs walking around these card shows. There's a lot of people out there at the College World Series, and it's turned into such a great experience. I got to go there as a player once, all the way back in 1998, and now you see what college baseball has turned into.
Yeah.
I mean, the game that the Gators were in. I encourage people to listen on the radio. Of course, that's what I'm doing. But in talking to Dave Neal and Chris Burke, there was more than 1 million people that watched a super regional college baseball game. So, the audience is there. College baseball has turned in such a big – and now look what happened. Herson Waldrop just got called up from playing in the College World Series last year. So now 2 Gators that we saw play in the College World Series last year have already made big league appearances. And, of course, what Paul Skeens has done. And now there's going to be a Livy Dunn card, I'm sure.
Well, she's got a card. Oh, no. Don't go down that road. There's already Livy Dunn autographs. And, I mean, you got your Selma last week. We'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. But, I mean, that's what it's turned into. So tune into the College World Series. Yeah. It is sometimes next year's superstars already.
Oh, absolutely.
Cards coming out that quickly about the players you should get to watch.
We never would have thought that day would be here where you could be drafted and then the next year you're already called up, right? Yeah. I mean, that was like unheard of. And so look at that. We got Gators. We talked about Skeens, another SEC guy, and just exciting time. Baseball. Got basketball finishing up, football about to start, hockey finishing up. Olympics around the corner, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep, and again, fun this weekend on Saturday in the Meelypop shop here in Gainesville. You've got 2 Olympians, 2 guys that will probably win gold this summer. So an opportunity to meet Marcus Dendy and Grant Holloway, get autographs for very, very cheap, take pictures, have a great time with those guys because it is special. That's like the one reason I'm sad that we're going to the World Series because I would have been able to be over there, but I'm sure you'll at least take a picture with them.
It'll be fun. I'll make sure we get a sign something for you. Buddy.
Okay, awesome stuff. All right, appreciate everybody for tuning in again. Many ways to find us. We'll do this every week. We'll have a great guest on and have some fun. Again, comment on these, or if there's something that you want to learn about, that's what this is all about. Yeah. Teach you all the hobby industry. Teach me the hobby industry from one of the best around to do it and doing it the right way. They'll guide you in the perfect spot to make sure you're doing and getting what you want out of what this is. So put the questions in the comments and then get a chance to win a Heisman Trophy autographed Steve Spurrier card. It's as simple as that. And you can always go back and listen to that first episode with the head ball coach himself.
Please share. I know hobby people, let people know about their podcast. We're trying to do some cool things with it. Yep. And I think that's a wrap for episode 2.
That it is. For Jameel, I am Jeff, and you've been listening to the Meelypod Hobby Podcast.
Thank you for joining us. We will see you next Thursday at noon.